Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. It's Jamie and Courtney.
Hi guys.
Um, we were on a really fun leaders call this week with some of the other leaders from Human Grace, and the topic came up of events. And I don't know about you, Court, but for me, it like kind of blew my mind a little bit. I knew that events were coming from our fitness and nutrition space. We would do stuff like sometimes do fit clubs or shake and shares. But events weren't really on a small scale a regular thing for a lot of us, right? I don't know. I did fit clubs regularly for a little while, but what about you, Court? Were events something that you did a lot of?
I think
More life events?
maybe like in the beginning of my business, I think I probably did more of them than I did once my business was like on a larger scale. But we definitely used to gather more and do like a workout together. And I would consider that an event because sometimes they'd bring a friend or it just became a way to showcase community, which I think is also a, a benefit of events, right? It's kind of a recruiting strategy and showing how we kind of come together and work together, which is pretty great.
Yeah. And actually, now that you say that, like that was actually one of the main ways I built for so
Yeah.
many years. I mean, I've always social media has always been what it is for me, and it's a tool and a vehicle, and you can reach a lot more people a lot faster. But like, I love the belly to belly stuff. I like that. And I think that for recruiting wise, being able to show, and this was pre COVID, right? Like being able to show, like, hey, there's real women, friends, people doing things together was really powerful. And I think that's even more the case now because I don't think anyone is out there aspiring for more Zoom time. um, and where we could at least be able to post a picture of our Zoom attendance in that was like, oh look, they've got community now. That's like kind of a drain on an immediate like negative dopamine like deduction, right? You're like, oh, Zoom, whatever. So when we were on this call, I had asked the question like, all right, so because at the beginning of every month we have our kickoff call and they do those great recognitions and some of the top advocates in the company have volume that's in the 20 like specifically speaking for like the Hawaii trip when they're showing the totals of this volume, and a couple of the top advocates have like 30, 40 plus thousand OV. And so when I had asked, like, and I knew they didn't have big, huge social media following, so I had asked, some of the, our upline and some Kelly, and I was like, well, what do they do? And it was immediately like, oh, they do a lot of events. And my mind went to home parties and like expo fairs where you buy a booth and you have an 8 hour vendor fair where, you've been to those at the fairgrounds and things like that. And I was like, immediate no. Both of these things in my brain were like an immediate no. But I had a feeling that that was not what they were doing, and sure enough, it wasn't. And so we wanted to share some ideas, and I think that this is such a great way to build your confidence, to build your sales, to build your customer list, to get out into the community and build a local community, a local clientele, and also like find other ways other than just through social media to grow your income, to grow your volume, to grow your customer list. So I did make some slides to keep me on track, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about like equally so not all of us have the means or the ability or the time to go do a lot of in-person events. My hope is that after this, you'll at least try a few. But Courtney's been doing something that I think is really duplicatable and really fun, and it's been really effective with a virtual kind of experience too. So we'll talk about that as well. But what comes into your mind when you think events? And you can put it in the chat. And I'm going to get the slides going here. Okay,
Do you got them?
I got them. Yeah, I just didn't want to do like presenter view because that like sucks up all my battery. Okay, we've got people in the chat. Let's see. Sorry, what was the question? What do you think of when you think of events? Home parties? Yeah. And Kirsty's been around a long time. So Kirsty, at any point, if you're like have extra to add, feel free to do that. And Kirsty's part of our upline team, and whoever's watching this, we're recording this so that you can. These are the slides. I just added this to the slides from the other day. Okay, so, and this is info that we pulled together from that call the other day, and then I watched a couple other calls that some of those women had done for the network before, and so kind of like boiled it down to some bite-sized chunks. But really, when they're talking about events, they're really kind of pop-ups, like short little 1 to 2 hour, usually 2 hour opportunities to kind of show up at a local business, and just kind of engage and interact and network. It's not something where you have to have a big huge booth or a big tent. It can be something as little as like a card table, right? Like a little folding dinner TV stand, TV tray table, or a little card table, or maybe they have a table you can put a cloth on and set up as well. And they could be anywhere. And so this is when I sat down today and I just brain dumped, but the question was asked, well, where do you go? Where are the places you go? So my challenge to you is in the chat as I'm talking, where are the places you have gone this week to shop and or go regularly in a month to do your things, you know? So on here I put like a massage studio, acupuncture clinic, chiropractic clinic, local boutiques. I think most towns have like those cute little clothing boutiques or a specialty shop of some sort. Maybe it's not clothing, maybe it's apothecaries or a craft shop or something like that. It's like somewhere you like to go. Gyms, think gyms like Orange Theory or a CrossFit gym or a Hot Works or like a local, any kind of local fitness studio, a yoga studio, a bar studio, Pilates studio, hair or nail salons, local coffee shops, or just little shops that, just little food and beverage shops. I know like my local garden store, where everyone goes, has its own little pop-up boutique, like a little retail section where they have a bunch of stuff for sale, and they have a little food section with a little courtyard. So that popped into my mind. Estheticians, med spas, places that women go for beauty treatments, right? Like face, Botox, fillers, peels, lasers. All med spas are a hugely popular spot. Co-working spaces, community centers like the Y. I think like back in Oregon, we had those food cart courts were really popular. Rec centers, wellness, like think like those in the South, especially those pickleball courts that are like more like community centers. They have restaurants and picnic tables and a stage. Wellness centers that have like maybe multiple functions, IV bars, infusion bars, things like that. What would you add to this list? I'm going to look at the chat. Yeah, pickle acai places, juice bars, exactly, totally.
Jamie, Tammy is someone that does a lot of these really, really well. She is really good at approaching local businesses and getting them to host them. She does them practically every month. And this is what I use. I just got this off Amazon. It's a lemonade thing. And I just fill that with Hydrate Detox and take that with me and hand out individual packets.
I love it. So a couple things as you're trying to decide, I think any of those places would be great spots. Tammy was just telling me about her Wrinkle-Free Wednesday at like a local boutique that does like kind of beauty treatments. They have lashes and things like that. And then she partners with them and other vendors, and people come in. It's like once a month, they'll have like a Botox gal, a filler gal, do stuff in the treatment rooms while Tammy has like a table, etc. And then it's some things that I think would be smart to consider as you're deciding like, okay, who am I going to talk to first? I think having a place that has a lot of foot traffic already is going to work in your best interest. So if you go to like this list where like I think of my acupuncture clinic, it's very small. There's 2 rooms and usually I'm the only one in there. Right. So it would need to be something like specifically like an event we're just hosting just, to get more people in the door. Same with like a massage or chiropractic clinic. Like generally it's not a place where people are flowing through a lot. That's not a bad choice at all. But you could also kind of get more bang for your buck if there's just natural foot traffic. It's a place that people are shopping and come in and out. One idea I heard was like look in the events section of your local newspaper and see where, if there are already fun like pop-up events, customer appreciation events, things like that are happening, or go on Instagram and follow local stores as you're driving around town. And a lot of times they'll promote those things online and in their stories, and you could just, reach out. And I'm going to talk about that next, but or even just reach out and ask them if you're as you're shopping, as you're around, say, hey, do you ever do customer appreciation pop-ups or just pop-up events in general? Is that something you'd be interested in? And then just start making note of like if there's already stuff that's going on that maybe you could plug into. And then Timmy,
Hey guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, can I just offer something super fast?
Sure.
So I'm driving, so I'm going to try not to talk long, but I think the reason these are so powerful, and I had told Jamie, like, don't overthink it. It's really just one more tool in your toolbox that you're inviting people to. So it's and like if you end up hosting one of these and no one comes or no one buys anything, you're taking pictures, you're documenting it. People are going to see, you're posting on social media. They're going to be like, oh, wow, you're really doing well. I saw you over here and I saw you doing this. So it's really action and activity that is going to create momentum in your business. And so no matter where it is, it gives you that opportunity to reach out to someone, let them know, hey, I'm going to be at this pop-up. Would love to have you come by. So it's just a different invitation. And I think that everyone loves to be included in like a girls' night out or a new business that's in town. And the other thing is just as you're approaching these businesses, like Jamie used the word pop-up, that's just a commonly kind of used term for these types of experiences. And, so many businesses love having them because you're going to bring a whole new network of people into their retail shop or their gym. So, and they're really fun. And I always say, keep it simple. I literally can set up in about 10 minutes. So I have kind of I'll send you guys a picture, Jamie, I'll send you a picture of kind of my setup and what I do. But I'm so excited, Jamie, that you're really highlighting this because it has really boosted my business and been something that's created a lot of success for me in the last couple of years. So I'll stop talking, but
no, that was great. I thank you for offering that.
Sure.
And actually this is, and actually when I messaged Tammy earlier, cause I was like, I'm just still trying to wrap my head around like, how would I even break the ice with this place? And she's like, that's when she's like, don't overthink it. You just introduce yourself, especially if it's a cold connection. A lot of times we actually frequent a lot of these places and you might already know the owner or the manager, or they, might be at least familiar to them. And it'd be a great time to tell them like, oh, this is what I do. I partner with this company. This would be a good time for your elevator pitch. We can talk about that at the end a little bit more. Where you talk about a little bit about what your mission is and what Hue and Grace's mission is and why you think this would be a good fit, like a good fit, why you thought of them, and simply just asking them, would you be interested in me coming in for a pop-up event for a couple hours? I'd promote it to my network too, and ideally bring new clients into your shop and offer a fun layer to their experience here. And just kind of dialogue about it, right? And so going from there. And then so I'm going to pause there. So I'm going to talk about like, this is prior to kind of getting in the door. Is there any questions or does any like immediate limiting beliefs pop in, like any fears or nerves? Courtney, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I think the other piece too is like, I think for some people, this might feel a little more like organic and authentic, maybe more of your extroverts. But I mean, I also think it could be fun to do it with a friend. Like if you've built your business and you've got, another friend that's building alongside of you, it could be really fun for you to do something together like this. And I remember, so when we first moved to South Bend, Indiana, I was invited we were like brand new there. So like a friend had invited me to go with her, but there was a woman hosting like a cabbie party, the clothing. Do you guys know cabbie? It's a, and it was like her girlfriend was offering just like a mom's night out. And it was such little time spent with her presenting the items there, and it was more just an opportunity for women to gather, have a charcuterie board and some wine. So like you could do like an in-home event like that with a friend, like maybe somebody that I always feel like it's somebody that you know really well, and maybe they would just be like people that are already like crossed over and they're not complete strangers. Like for some people that might feel like a safer place to start, and for some people that might be terrifying as well. Like I think there's some of us that love speaking to the people close in our circle, and there's others that are like strangers would be easier for me. But I think there's a lot of different ways you could do this. But like Tammy said, I mean, the expectation I would imagine is more so planting seeds, right? Like you are taking your tools and you're sharing your, you know, passion and understand, they're feeling the things, they're touching them, they're tasting them, and you're planting those seeds. But also if you have like a logbook where people are logging in, it gives you another chance to follow up and continue to offer them opportunities to get connected with these tools. So you know, I think that these are all great ways to just gain more exposure, especially out. It's like social media is a tool. And I think that over the last couple of years, I think all of us have probably gotten really comfortable hanging out on social media. But I think there's a lot of power of getting in your community too.
Yeah. I love that. And I love that you said, I actually was going to add a slide and then my computer started being weird, but, I wanted to put a slide saying like, grab a buddy and do this with someone if you want, you know, like if you, I don't have anyone to do this with in Vermont, but I will, right? And when I do, it would be so much more fun to be able to, or as a leader, if I have young new advocates that are local or drivable, this might be something I go help them do and help build their confidence the first couple times. So I think the hardest part is like getting up the courage to going and getting in. I think that'll just kind of build momentum and confidence as you do it. But while you're there, there are some tips that I thought were really important to pass on. I loved the one of getting to know the owner or manager, like right, kind of getting there a little early, setting up, and then making sure the owner or the manager, whoever's there representing the place, like really understands what you're sharing. This could be done even ahead of time or just while you're there. Like maybe you bring them their own little goodie bag, or you give them samples of all the things that you're going to be sharing, and you give them a little bit of education so that they can also, as they're milling around and networking, they know what they're sending their people to, right? And they feel excited. I also think that this, from a business perspective, you're planting a seed that you could then follow up at some point and offer the retail opportunity to that spot. Maybe they want to carry these products, and this could be a business you sign up as a retail shop. That doesn't have to be the outcome here, but I think that that would be a really natural fit if it was something that went really well. And that could even be some way you continue to support your retail businesses by offering to come and support these products within their space. Meet the other vendors. A lot of times, like Tammy's, where you know there's a lot of other people that are other businesses, other entrepreneurs that come and do like the Wrinkle Free Wednesday, and so like building a network there. I think making, you know, building those connections with other businesses, other entrepreneurs, that only continues to establish support and community, and but also like keep the door open for other referrals and other networking opportunities, etc. So you have a little table to set up, but make sure you've got things there you can see, taste, smell, and read. So it could just be something as simple as, and I loved Kirsty's jug, like to make hydrate detox, or just even little Dixie cups. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. And I'll show you a space in the Knowledge Center where they had a bunch of cool event products to kind of look at. But I would say, like, don't feel like you have to have all the perfect things. You don't have to have the stickers. You don't have to have the trays or the tablecloths. Like, it can really be something super basic and simple at first. And then as you figure out like what you want this to feel like and look like, you can always upgrade. And you know, I don't want you spending money before you're making money necessarily, but I'd rather have you spend the money on like the samples of the body oil, or samples of the getting extra hydrate detox and collagen to be able to make things there. And do for sure use this as an opportunity to collect emails. There might not be people buying right there. It might not be a time where people are going to be spending a lot of money to buy at your shop. You could set up an iPad, you could have an order form, and then you process these afterwards. But I think from what I've heard from a lot of people, it's not necessarily a place where they're buying a lot, but it's a place where you're connecting names, you're getting emails, and then you can follow up and you're educating and just building those connections. I think it'd be really fun to do like a giveaway Vermont is like really big on business cards. Still, like old fashioned, everyone has a business card. You go anywhere, they give you your business card. You could just do one of those like fish bowls and just have people drop in their business card. Literally everyone has one, or just write their name on a little chip, do a drawing, you know, afterwards with, you know, and then you've got emails there. You can just let them know, like, I'll be adding you to my newsletter and give extra special deals and things like that. You can use the Hello 10, the Give 10, Get 10, the 10% HD Insider. You can offer special incentives and make sure they know they get discounts for ordering. This is also a great way to network and talk to people about what you do for your job. And like, maybe even if someone's like, oh, wait, what do you do? You know, it might be someone that might be interested at some point in being an advocate as well. You can make a little QR code if someone wants to order, if you do have little sample packs, which I think is a beautiful idea. For sale, they could just Venmo. You could put a little QR code from Venmo. They can just Venmo you right there. And then just have them put their email in the Venmo so that you can follow up with a thank you, etc. I know there's a lot of other things you could do while you're there, but those were kind of the best things to start. I think doing a collagen demo, you could do collagen mocktails, right? You could just do hydrate detox samples, having the body polish out to smell, or even just kind of rub on the back of their hand. Same with the bath salts. The body oil is an easy thing to sample. You could even have like a hand, you know, if there's a place with a sink and they can wash their hands, you could have them try the face serum if they wanted. I think so many of our products, I would put my cleaner out, right? And maybe even let them just kind of like smell it, because I think that's the biggest selling point of the cleaner. I think there's so many different ways you could really get people interested in that. And I was going to show you, and there are a lot of really great, oh, Tammy, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just super fast, you guys, and I gotta go. But two things. So what Courtney said about doing it with a friend is so effective, because then there's a few of you talking about it. You each have your own experience with the products and your own stories. So the other thing is, you know, like you said, invite just some friends over for coffee on a Saturday. And what we have done in our community is we just every week have something. So whether it's like come to my house for coffee and muffins from 8 to 9 or 9 to 10, again, just like keeping it so simple, because you want it duplicatable. So don't do a huge spread of food. You can do that on occasion, but don't feel like you have to do that. And then the other thing that was really effective for us at the beginning, and I need to get back to this, but we would set up posts at a coffee shop, and I would bring the products and just put a few out. I wouldn't make a big display because I didn't want it to feel weird, but I would invite, you know, the local or advocates to come, and then they would invite people. And I would just say, I'm going to be at this coffee shop from, you know, 9 to 11 on Thursday. And that was a way where people could just invite people. The products were there. That grew our team pretty quickly, you know, at an early place in our businesses. And you also have to remember, so many people want community. You know, there's just a lot of lonely people out there that are looking to be part of something. And so having that invitation to come and be part of something is huge.
I love that. And thank you so much, Tammy. And I think that would be a really great addition to this. Like, make sure you have something new else to invite to as you're connecting with people. And I like the idea of mixing it up and having those in-person things, even if you don't want or can't have someone like in your home. What a great accessible idea of having just taking a corner of a coffee shop and like, you know, just inviting people in that way. I just think there are just so many ideas. And I think and I know as you're listening, I'm sure your wheels are spinning too. And you've probably thought of like, oh, I've been invited, or I've seen other events like this, et cetera, as well. And so please share them. I think in our team drive, I pulled a couple of these. There's an events folder in the Knowledge Center. I pulled them straight from there. There's a lot of extra information in there. And I didn't think it was, you know, I just pulled out what I thought was like the most important. But there is this beautiful PDF. Can you see it, Courtney? Okay. So in this, it's like so beautiful. It talks about things to do as you're preparing for your event, reminders of like You have to do a few days in advance, the morning of. I do think that if promoting this on your social media is going to, and then tagging the place you're going is the most important way to show like, hey, I'm going to bring people to this too. Push this out to your local network. It's also going to edify yourself as a business owner. It's going to get people going, oh, wow, this is really cool. This is really professional. Look what she's hosting an event. That's going to get your own audience taking notice and building and like kind of building trust, that breeds, like, it looks very successful and polished, and people inherently trust that. It doesn't have to be a wellness beauty bar. It could be whatever you want, but there's just some examples of what to say and how to promote it. There are some ideas of what you can order to set up. I think getting yourself stocked up. I know for me, I just ordered a few extra bags of Hydrate Detox and some other products that I just wanted to make sure I had on hand. Some ideas of what you can set up, spa water, etc. Then just some, these are just, it's just, I don't need to read all this, but it's all here. It's in the Google Drive. There's some, you can print these off and laminate them. I think a lot of our printed material would look really good printed at Staples. Get it laminated at Staples, and then you've got it reusable. It's also really good. You have it next to you while you're talking to prospects on the phone or something. You can just reference. You don't have to have everything memorized. I do think some of these. I did submit a ticket, just so you know. I know that we're promoting more the routine instead of the look great, feel great. So I'm hoping that these will get updated so that it more promotes the routine instead of just that. There's you can print this off about the benefits of an HG Insider, free product credit. So these are the things you can like promote and tell people as you're including like an after event follow-up. And then I just thought that this was really nice. It's really beautiful. These are all links to Amazon. And if you just kind of, this is clearly like a certain motif, a certain kind of aesthetic. But I would, and you don't have to have all these things. And I would probably say, please don't go buy all of these things before you start doing these regularly, but this is all here for you as well. Here's an order form if you want people just to be able to order from you, and then you can go manually build those carts for them at home later that night. And then you can print this off and laminate this too. So just it's all right here, which I thought was really nice. Court, do you want to add anything to that? And then I can switch back to.
No, I mean, I hadn't seen that resource, and that's really helpful. It's beautiful too.
There's also an invite to Human Grace events. So there's a whole document in here that's just example invites. I think we've all kind of evolved away from the scripts over the years, but these are some really great, just easy ways just to get the conversation started. So some invites, day of, reminders, and after the event, thank yous and follow-ups. So anyway, I thought that was hopefully helpful. Are there questions about in real life? Like I said, I have not done this myself yet. I'm just really excited about it. I see a lot of opportunity, a lot of ideas. Courtney, is there anything you want to add about the in real life ones before we switch to your stuff?
No, I think that was all really great.
Okay. And then go ahead.
Okay. So in launching my business, I was trying to think of a way in which, I know that once our products are so highly, they're wonderful. Those of you that obviously we love the products, that's why we're here. And I just knew that people needed to have a chance to try them before maybe they were going to fully invest in the full bag, especially just being mindful of the timing of the year, finances and things. Like people might not be willing to spend $85 right now, but I knew if I could give them a smaller sampling, they could test it for themselves and make the decision about where they want to go from here. So I decided to invite to a 7-day trial of Hydrate and Detox. So I called it Happy Healthy Hormones. And it was the opportunity for them to purchase 7 hydrate sticks. And then I included a letter in there. And then some people did get a body oil sample. I ran out. So it just depended on how many I had of who actually got those, but I did include those in there. And then I just shipped them in mailers, and sent them off. And so what I was asking for them to do, at first I was like, well, I could easily make this like a checklist of things I want them to do for 7 days. But really my intent was to have them sample and try the product for 7 days and have a good reflection over the things in which, pay attention to how you feel, like your energy levels, your digestion. And I did ask for them to tag me on social media for their day one. So it wasn't like this organized, we're all starting on this date, we're doing 7 days together. I gave people the flexibility to pick their 7 days. I encouraged them to sample for 7 days straight, but also understanding life happens. So if you missed a day, it was okay. And that's what's so great about this product is that you're still going to reap the benefits. If you drink it for 4 days and you miss a couple, like it's the overall wellness tool, right, in which we're helping them promote and all the benefits of that. So I didn't want to make it so prescriptive of having like a day one, but you certainly, and I know all of us that are coming over from the wellness space, we're used to that. And I will say my customers are used to that. So they were like, did I miss the group invitation? They were kind of looking for that. So just kind of things like working through as we've changed our hats a little bit, and my focus to that greater wellness conversation is happening, and sort of reintroducing a couple new ways to try these tools. But my main emphasis and goal was, one, yes, for them to get product in hand, to try it, and for me to continue to build relationships with them. So when I launched my business, I opened up a group and I shared about all the tools, and I had quite a few people dive in and purchase things, but there was a lot of people looking and they were really curious. And I think they're waiting to see something before they're ready to actually like hit submit, which is not uncommon. I think that's a pretty common thing, that people are sort of waiting to hear something that's going to connect them to why they need it. But I just knew if I could get this sampling in their hands, the price point would be something in which didn't terrify them. And they were excited to try it. They really were. So I had a really overwhelming response to that. But what I liked about the approach that I took to it too, is it wasn't like I could only take so many people because I only have so much to give out. I just ordered more. And then I was like, okay, they're going to be mailed out once my next shipment comes. So like I have a little more flexibility in terms of like the timing of getting them out, because there is a little work on your end, right? Like you're ordering, they're coming to you, people are paying you, and you're shipping their product. I don't ship it until they've actually paid me. If you're going to offer this, I would charge no less than $20. If you do the math, it breaks down. I just took like the cost per packet of stick at retail. I was a little off on my math, so I didn't quite charge them enough, but I would charge, when I redo this, I'll charge $20. And so in my messaging, I just sent them a message. So there was a couple ways in which I invited. I invited on social media, like through like a social media post where they commented a keyword, in which then I sent them a message. Those are more cold market people. So like that wasn't a group that I was really expecting to have a huge response from, right? Like I think tapping into your cold market is going to be a little more challenging. Like you've got to really think about who it is that you want to start with you right now. And it's likely probably people that already know, love, and trust you, right? And then the other way that I invited was I sent messages directly to people. I also, since I had my launch group open on Facebook, I created an event within that page. So I had like about 200 people in that group, and I knew those people were already leaned in. They'd already seen some stuff. So that was a pretty warm market for me. I sent a invite via that group. So it just went to those people in the group, and I had quite a few people that responded yes. And so I sent them instructions of how to pay. I had them pay me via Venmo. And that just, works for me. And I had them in the Venmo section just put their address in the notes, but set it so it was private. So it wasn't like getting pushed out into the feed. It was just coming to me. That helped keep me really organized, because then I have everybody that's paid in a text message, because that comes to you via Venmo and their address is right there. So it just helped me like just be thinking about how you're going to keep organized with this. This is not a strength of mine. And I didn't want to go into the whole like Google form thing just yet. I wanted to just keep this really simple. But again, this is planting seeds and building connections, but they've actually tried the product. So like they have a little more to go off of than just like some conversations. It was kind of taking that initial conversation. Here's an offer for you. And then let's talk about like what our next steps would be. So, when you're building your business and you're bringing on those first customers, like there's pieces that go into that. And I know that's going to look different for everybody, but for me, this has always been how I've built my business with the funnel. It's, it's connecting on a common idea or theme and building that, like connecting, making that relationship. And then there's an offer, right? And it may be a small offer, it could be a larger offer, but there's an offer. And then they get to try the tools, and then it's how do we keep going with this? So most of like my first people that got their packets are on day like 4 or 5, and I've already had quite a few. I shouldn't say quite a few. There was 4 or 5, which I thought was really good, already go on and either buy like a full bag of hydrate, or like they combined it with the other tools because they're like, I don't want to run out, like this is so amazing. And one of the biggest feedbacks I've gotten, you know, from coming again, like the wellness space is a familiar space for me. And for those of us that have been, you know, previously working there in a wellness space, they're like, I like the simplicity of this. It's like combining a lot of things I was already doing into like one drink, right? Like it's just taking the routine and making it feel really simple for them. And that's giving them a lot of confidence that they could continue to see it, continue to use it and find success. And I think, you know, people are really craving that and looking for that. So, and the other piece too is like, I wanted to make sure that I was creating something that could be duplicatable by my downline, right? It's something that when somebody comes in and they're looking for some ideas of how to get people started, this is an option, right? Like everybody's going to build their business different ways, and there's lots of different paths to take. Like just because this is my way doesn't mean it may be your way, and that's totally fine, but it's an option. So I wanted to make sure that whatever I was doing and the steps that I was taking were things that my newer advocates could come in and just immediately duplicate that on their own. You know, and also like thinking from like a business building standpoint. And is this okay to talk about, Jamie, adding in like the business piece of all of this? So you guys, we want to see we want to see success. We want our advocates to see success. We want them to move forward in their business and unlock all the things that are going to, you know, open up matching bonuses and rank advancements, because it means that you're moving your business forward, right? I'm personally purchasing the Hydrate and Detox, and then I'm reselling it. So you're earning back your investment. I'm purchasing it. It's going to take some upfront funds for you. So you don't need, like, I didn't order it until I kind of had a head count of how many people I thought would want to join. And you could obviously maybe order a bag and have enough for, you know, 4 people to get started with you, but you don't need to go buy 10 bags of Hydrate and Detox and then try to sell those. Like, order a bag and then put it out in the universe. You're going to help 4 people get connected to a 7-day trial. And you're not just going to like put out a message and sit and wait. You're going to have to send messages, you know, events. There's lots of different ways in which you could help that person, but just posting on social media and hoping for people to jump in your inbox is probably not the best strategy for most people. It's not the best strategy for me. But with that said, purchasing these Hydrate and Detox bags is giving me PV and organizational volume, right? Because I'm purchasing them, but I'm recouping all of my costs by reselling the packets, but it's also helping me move the needle on my business, right? Because now I've got the PV, but I've got product in other people's hands. I don't just have it sitting on my bookshelves. I have got it in other people's hands. It's opening up more conversations. You know, in this process, you might find your next rockstar advocate, right? That sees how seamless this process was and was like, I could see myself doing this too. So I wanted to make sure that the process was simple enough for the newest of people to be able to jump in and see success and get going.
I love that. And as we're looking at like what those first business benchmarks are, like one of the things I love about our comp plan is you can get to SAV all by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't need to have one on each leg and they both need to be like you can move yourself up to that first open for business kind of rank, which unlocks bigger earnings all by yourself and by investing in yourself. So like I said, I don't want you going and buying like all the beautiful display stuff and investing in that yet. At some point, if you're like, yeah, I'm going to rock this feels fun, then for sure, brand it and make it feel good and make it look professional. But to start, like, you can literally go to Michael's and buy or in your linen closet and find something that looks like a nice, you know, how many tapestries do I have? Like make a nice little tablecloth. You can print off a few things at Staples, spend $20. And there you go. I'd rather you invest in the products so you can get in people's hands. There are a bunch of cute little glass jars, little glass lip balm things. There's little satchels. There's so many different things you can just get on Amazon for very cheap. And then you can even take the adaptogen soap bar and cut it into pieces and sell that even for a little sample size. You can figure out what that, you can't sell it at a profit, but you can sell it to recoup those costs that it would cost retail. And then that might be something you put on your table, right? Or something like that. Or if you wanted to just invest in, I know a lot of people do samples and just give them away and things like that. That's not a bad idea. But I also don't want you to feel like you have to do that. But I do think if you invest in yourself and invest in your business, those are income producing behaviors. These are moving the needle activities, like Courtney said. So I think the next step is to decide what you want this to look like. I would say, like, I would want you to explore both options, right? They don't all have to happen at the exact same time, but start mapping out the next month. I wasn't quite, when Courtney was sharing about this a few weeks ago, I was like, there was like not something I could take on right now, but I am taking it on in the new year because I'm like, okay, because I just can plan for it mentally and just, I know mailing thing, like I just knew it wasn't quite in my rhythm. But I also am now trying to think through, like, okay, what kind of events can I do? So my challenge to you would be, like, get yourself stocked up on the products that you want to be focusing on. Also know that in the new year, so we're, right now we're getting people into the routine. It is not too late. It is definitely not too late to get people into this 7-day trial and still qualify for the masterclass. We have a month to do that. Our orders take 2 to 5 days to arrive. You can
They're
start
very quick.
it.
Like mine was just delivered. I ordered it on Wednesday.
Yeah. So you could even, like, if this is something you want to do for the week between Christmas and New Year's, and then funnel those people into the masterclass, you have the week of 1st of January to upgrade them. Like, there's so much time. So I would say take it and run with it. I did have my assistant, this isn't totally done yet, but we made a template of Courtney's letter on Canva. So I'm going to be putting that in the events drive, and then so you can edit it, make it sound like you. And then also on the back side of that, you can print this off, and I made this to go on the back side of that letter, or my assistant and I made this to go on the back side of the letter.
Oh yeah,
and it
that's
talks
great.
about what they're getting. I'm the kind of person that's like, I'll use it if I know how it's going to help me a lot more. But my goal will be to do a 7-day routine trial. So we're getting extra AM supplements. And also I'll find a way to bag you up. Soon we'll have collagen stick packs, just like with Hydrate Detox stick packs. But until then, I'll be bagging up a week of 7-day collagen. But the Hydrate Detox alone is also a great option. I'm just sharing I want to give them like a routine test drive and explaining them they're not going to see their life change. They're not going to feel their health completely change in 7 days, but they are going to see the benefit of the routine. They're going to feel that you're going to feel more awake just the first time you try it, right? I think for me, I was a little nervous about some supplements are really heavy on my stomach, right? I can't take them first thing in the morning. So I was like, so I actually didn't try it at first thing in the morning because I've always been so nauseous when I do that. But listened to the formulator call. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a go. And I can take them no problem first thing on an empty stomach. So I think some people have a really hard time taking capsules. So getting them the chance to try it, see like, oh, actually, this is really simple. And I do start, the collagen, I think you'll notice the benefit after a week, you'll notice your nails change too.
And I think 7 days of Hydrate Detox in the AM supplement, like the collagen will take a little time to see, like you'll probably notice differences, but like for other people to notice, it's probably, I would say it takes like a month maybe, but like they pair well together, obviously. But Hydrate and Detox, Hydrate Detox, I was going to do 5 days. And then in talking with some of the gals on my team, they're like, well, I feel like it took me 5 days to really be like, wow, my digestion is amazing. And like recognizing the changes that were having my energy levels, like my skin. So I was like, okay, let's do 7. Cause that felt like enough to get, but I do think 7 days of Hydrate Detox, morning supplement, like people will feel a difference. That morning supplement, my folks that have ordered that by like day 3, they're like, what is in here? Like, why? Like, I feel so good. And I'm like, I know, it's pretty magical.
Yeah. So our homework for you is to jump on the train somewhere. I don't think it's, the right time in the next 2 weeks to start a pop-up, post Christmas or pre-Christmas. Like, it's a little too late for a holiday pop-up, but a lot of businesses see a big slump in January. So having something fun and festive to invite to at the end of January, or start planning for like a Galentine's event, something like that, like a girls' night. I think that's a great idea. But I would love for you to think of, make a list of 10 places local to you, and share that list in the live stream or the comments, or text it to, you know, your upline, and then make a commitment to reach out to at least a few of those and get the conversation started. It's going to feel bumpy at first, and that's okay. It's just getting the words out. Hi, Lucy. Everyone say hi to Lucy. And then do experiment with you know, a 7-day test run of the hydrate detox or the routine, or maybe you want to do a test run of the skin line and you're like, you know, I'm not really that into the routine. I want to do, you can order little teeny dropper bottles of for the oils, the serums. There are so many ways to do this. I just say, like, go do it. If you're watching this on time, meaning this week in the middle of December, for the next week or so, we have a gift card promo. This would be a great time to kind of get more bang for your buck. You also get your 25% discount for every $100 gift cards you buy, you get $20 extra in a 20 extra gift card. And so a great way to kind of like stock up on stuff. But hopefully this was helpful. I loved learning this. We were really excited about these ideas. And so we wanted to like pay that forward and regurgitate it to all of you sooner than later, so your wheels can start spinning and you can start like moving the needle now, because that's the time to grow, right? Why wait till tomorrow when you can do it today? So anything you want to add before we end, Court?
No, she just woke up from nap, so
No, it's okay. If there are any questions from you guys, put them in the chat. Otherwise, Allison, I love that you got the sample bottles. So it's so great. I got mine in and they're so cute, and they're just a great way. A little bit of serum goes a long way. So I think that's a really great way to test stuff out. So thank you, Tammy, for chiming in and helping us out, and have a great rest of your day, you guys.